Hi guys, this is Cooking with Nathan. This is
Holly Randall. I really need no introduction. You all know who I am. Let's be real.
Exactly. I'm not sure if you guys seen our podcast together. It went great. Also, love the header for that. so I pulled that up the other day. It's like, how to work in porn with the most mediocre cook.
We might need a highlight clip like that. I'll be honest, I don't pull any of the highlight clips, nor do I title them. Somebody else does it.
It was so funny.
Oh wait, was it like working in porn with a regular sized penis?
Yeah, working in porn with a normal sized cock.
This is a normal sized cock, my friend. Nathan is proof that you too can be a porn star. You don't need a monster dread dick. You can have a
fucking don't do it.
Mediocre dick and still be so successful. I mean, you're living the dream, man.
I'm living the dream.
Every man
is this the dream?
This
is the dream.
The dream.
The dream is nothing like how I thought it was going to be. Let me tell you. Wow, was I fucking wrong.
Is it nothing like what you thought it would be, just like today's roast potatoes?
Oh, nothing. Actually, the potatoes are kind of turned out exactly how I thought they were going to turn out.
Not how I thought they were going to turn out.
But you know what? I bet you're going to love that chicken, so.
I'm going to love both. But
yes.
I'm just saying. Should we explain what we're talking about?
Yes. So, going on to, many of you guys have seen these episodes. You know I don't read good or read things. Barely understand the idea of measurements. So she sent me a recipe that was a very British traditional thing, and I was like, really, phone? Really? Really? Hey, I just want to make sure
the
you're
host
still
who doesn't turn his phone off.
What's the next person? Like, we still for a second. I just talked to you yesterday. Yeah, and so very traditional British roasted chicken, and I butchered the idea and went with something that I liked, I guess, or more or less because I had 2 meals to prep and I still worked yesterday. I was just like, and just that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So basically, I sent him a recipe for traditional roast potatoes and traditional British roast potatoes, and I'm very particular about it. If you guys don't know, which one's my camera? Doesn't matter. This one.
Wide face here.
Okay, so should I address this camera? Okay, gotcha. Okay. So if you don't know, my mother is English. She's Suze Randall. She was one of the first women who worked behind the scenes in the adult industry. She's the one who got me into this godforsaken career. It's all her fault and my dad's fault, to be fair. But she's British. My parents emigrated here from England in 1974, and I was born in 1978 for their first child. So I had a very British upbringing in America. And one of the things that was really important and integral to us as a family was having a proper British roast on Sundays.
Yeah.
It was like a big thing. Like as a kid, I actually resented what we called Sunday lunch because I couldn't go out with my friends to the beach. I had to stay home with my family and have lunch with my family on Sundays, which, you know, when you're a teenager is a real bummer. But when you get older, you appreciate those rituals and that time with your family. And one of the things that we made a lot was these roast potatoes, and not the American way with the fucking skin on, which is how this motherfucker made them.
You know what, guys? There's a lot more vitamins in the skin than there is the actual potatoes. So,
look, in England, we don't care about vitamins.
we know.
So it was supposed to
God
be
bless you,
peeled,
Wales.
roasted in duck fat, roughened up, have this wonderful crispy outside, fluffy inside, and that's not what we have today for you guys, but it's still going to be delicious either way.
Actually, speaking of the duck fat, yeah, keep going.
Nathan, can you do a quick intro where you say, hey guys, today we're going to talk about war stories on a porn set with Holly and...
Me?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about war stories from a porn set with Holly Randall.
I have been on many a porn set.
You have?
I have some war stories.
Yeah, well, definitely been on a couple with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those were all like, it was just a battle working with this guy. All of those were war stories because he's the worst.
I actually miss working with you.
I know, I miss working with you too and your mediocre penis.
It's the best. Hey, you know, one more, oh, fucking Jesus. One more day of not getting Best Male Performer of the Year, so that happened the other day.
Okay, you know what? I don't even want to fucking hear it. I've been in the industry for 25 years. Guess who's never gotten an AVN award?
You haven't?
Not one.
Have you got
Not
X-Biz at
me.
least?
Yes, I got
there you go.
Best Photography Site twice.
Did you get Urban X?
No, I didn't even get, my podcast didn't even get nominated.
Oh, really?
No.
Wait, What, podcasts were nominated at Urban X?
Yeah, well, clearly yours didn't either.
Well, I didn't know because AVN and mine was nominated too, and I had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was on And Now We Drink. He's like, oh man, congratulations on the nomination. I was like, for what? He's like, you were nominated. I was like,
And that was the first year that they did podcasts.
we're not even a podcast. Fucking
Yeah.
A.
Anyways, I don't want to hear anything about AVN Awards because
That's true. That's true.
I at least deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Let's fucking be real about that.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I'm not bitter.
fine.
I
It's
don't
fine.
ever
It's
bring it
fine.
up, and
Yeah.
it's all good.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fucking fine. Fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
So why don't we start doing a little something?
Yes.
Your appeal time.
Yeah. Peel time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think so.
So.
You just kind of like strip it, right?
Yeah, right. So we get that out. Take it and just try to get some of those leaves off.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Best you can.
I got that. I got you.
Yeah. Thank you. We got you. It's we're making the food for you.
Yes.
So wait, you started now because we were trying to figure this out. And honestly, I didn't know this because I think you just started your OnlyFans, but you never actually were a performer at all.
Nope.
No, you started as camera or with your mom.
Yeah, so I started in the adult industry when I was 20 years old.
All right.
So this was back at the very kind of beginnings of the internet and people creating adult membership sites. So my mother, like I mentioned, is Suze Randall. So she launched her website in 1998. And we actually launched Suze.net, I think it was a month before or after Google. That's how fucking old our site is.
Shit.
Yeah, crazy, right? So that's what we did. And my mom, you know, she had shot some movies in the early days of her career, but she was really mostly a photographer. You know, back then, you could actually make a living shooting for magazines, which no longer exist. And that's pretty much what she did. So she had a really huge collection of photography that she owned because she also insisted on keeping the rights to all of her stuff. And so when the internet came along, you know, they built Suze.net and it just like exploded. They were making so much fucking money and they didn't, like, it was crazy because, you know, think about it, at the time, bandwidth was not only expensive, but it was also very, very slow. So video was not a thing. Photos were the only things that you could really get on the internet. And that's what my mom had a lot of. So Suze.net was doing really well. I was going to Brooks Institute of Photography at the time because I knew I wanted to be a photographer, but I didn't imagine doing it in adult. And I just found I really didn't fit in. I didn't enjoy the school. It was very stifled. It produced a lot of like commercial photographers. And so my dad actually asked me, he was like, hey, I was living in Santa Barbara at the time. He said, would you move back to LA and help us out with this website? Because like we literally, like, we're making all this money and we don't know what we're doing. This is such a new thing for us. And so I was like, okay. So I came back. I started working for them. First, just in the office. I was actually doing a lot of copyright enforcement because, no surprise, people were stealing our pictures left and right and creating websites with our photos. Oh, shit. I mean, it was the Wild West back then. You know, it was kind of nuts. Do I need to strip any more time?
No, now we're doing rosemary.
Okay. And and then I decided I still wanted to finish and get like a college degree. So I went to Santa Monica City College, finished up there, went to UCLA and graduated with a degree in English literature. And I initially like kind of just started working for my parents thinking, okay, this will be some transitionary moment for me, you know, between like getting my college degree and like maybe becoming an English teacher. These were my dreams. And I just found that I really enjoyed it. I think because the internet gave us so much freedom in terms of what we could shoot, because now like my mom didn't have to shoot for magazines. She didn't have to shoot for clients. She could literally just shoot whatever we wanted. You know, we could have a meeting and we'd be like, okay, what do we want to shoot this week? Like, oh, let's shoot like a 20s gangster theme thing. And we were making enough money to be able to get the costume and the wardrobe and the set design and the makeup. I mean, it was literally like shooting really cool glamour layouts. They just happened to get naked at the end and pull their penis out. You know what I mean? But, and I think also too, because, you know, we had a lot of women on our staff. My mom really cultivated this, you know, safe space where I think a lot of female performers felt safe. They felt taken care of. Like a lot of how I treat people on set, I learned from my mom. You know, like you feed them, you make them feel safe, you make them feel beautiful, you make them like feel, you know, good about what they're doing. Yeah. You know, it's
just feeding them alone. It means so much. Like,
right?
Like it's like that little thing, or just like from a performer standpoint, having some lube,
Yeah.
water,
All those things.
a towel,
Yeah.
and a little bit of food that's not Doritos. Not that I'm not appreciative of the Doritos,
Right.
but it's nice not to have Doritos. It's all super nice and brings to the whole experience of actually
Yeah.
doing it. Because, like, if you feel good coming in there,
Yeah.
because it's not like a regular job,
Yeah.
It's like I have to literally fucking get in my head and try to want to fuck this person who doesn't want to fuck me some of the time.
Right.
And really get into it,
Yeah.
So it's nice when at least that part's not have worry about.
You want to create a space that people
Oh, you
like
want to rough
feel
chop
good
the
in.
shit out of that?
I would love to chop the shit out of it.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and to your point, like, I've always felt that, these people are taking off their clothes and revealing the most intimate parts of their bodies and engaging in a pretty intimate act for us. And I feel like ultimately, like, that really demands a lot of respect.
Yeah.
And kindness and just like, just take care of your fucking people. And so I really learned that from my mom. So I just really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. We had a fun crew. We got to shoot cool shit. And I just, found myself here 25 years later, just never left.
Yeah.
So.
And on the same point, I'm just like, how does the industry change since you got in? Because, like, I know for me, even in 7 years,
Yeah.
it's changed.
It's changed the most, I would say, in the last, 5 to 7 years, 10 years than it has in any of the years prior to that.
And I want to know.
Because of technology.
Yeah, so what has your experience been?
So when I first came into the industry, it was all, like I said, it was mostly magazine work. That's really what it was.
So you also didn't have video anywhere, it was just pictures.
We were just shooting pictures. We started, as the internet began to evolve and bandwidth got better and you could, start to put videos up without, having to download for 3 hours at like a 320 fucking resolution. We started doing like behind the scenes and stuff like that. But yeah, at the beginning it was really just about photos. And what was really nice about that is that you had all day to shoot one layout. Nowadays you have to shoot like 2 scenes plus pretty girls plus softcore plus hardcore plus social media stuff, like all the shit that you have to do in one day. You can't like spend that attention to detail that we could back then.
Yeah.
We had all day to shoot one layout, and so like we could get the poses perfect, we could get the lighting perfect.
Yeah.
Am I putting it in there?
Yeah.
We could do like all of this stuff. The great part is I could teach girls how to model. Like, I don't have time to do that anymore. So I get a lot of girls who come on my set and they have no idea how to pose. They have no body awareness because nobody's ever taken the time to show that to them.
Oh, it's even funnier when they tell the guys to do pretty boys. What? Do you know how many times I've been asked to do pretty boys in my career? A lot more with model media, but only like before that was 3 times, Penthouse twice. Maybe.
I used to shoot for Playgirl too.
Yeah, I know, but like it's like no one tells them how to do that.
No, I mean, and it's also like guys are harder to shoot.
Yeah.
No offense, you guys are blocky.
You want to know an
chopping
easier way
this
to do
up,
this?
right?
Yeah, you want an easier way?
I don't know. Sure, I guess. Oh,
And that now it's flat.
I guess that makes sense.
So we have a fan question here, and it's on the theme of war stories. How do you deal with some of the big personalities you work with in the industry?
So, yeah, I rarely have problems with talent, with the big personalities. I've heard about girls who are problematic on other sets and they're not problematic on my sets. I think, again, it comes down to that, like, level of respect and treating people well and making sure they're taken care of. I think a lot of the girls, these divas that they're called, honestly, like, are just not really taken care of properly, and they don't feel safe and they don't feel secure in what they're doing. And so, that prompts them to maybe like even ask for their boundaries not to be crossed, which some directors can consider to be a diva. But
Weird, right?
yeah, I mean, I really rarely have that problem. And again, like, I really try to make sure that I take care of and I respect the people that are on my set. And if they, the thing is that ultimately, if they change their mind about something that they don't want to do in the scene now, like, they have every fucking right to do that. And I just, I don't ever want to push anybody to do something they're not comfortable with. I don't ever want anybody to leave my set and be like, wow, I wish I hadn't done that. Or wow, like, that felt weird. Or wow, like, I regret that. Like, that's something that I really, really don't want. And I will say that, like, now with this new, like bringing in boundary checklists, which is kind of a new thing that started with COVID, that's been super helpful because that's really expanded the communication before the scene starts, which is great because sometimes, as a woman, I like to think that I can read the room and I like can tell when another woman's feeling uncomfortable or doesn't want to speak up about something, but that's not true ultimately. Like, I don't know. I can't read minds, and some people have a hard time stating their boundaries.
I've seen plenty of girls who are like, yeah, I'm good with this, but like during the scene, I'm like, don't look good with this.
Yeah.
She's like, nah, it's great. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. And I think also being a woman too, like, I think other women sometimes feel a little bit safer and more secure in expressing reservations to me. We also have talent assistants on set now that are expressly there
Throw that in there.
for that purpose. So
Yeah, I think that is definitely helping us. I've also seen times where it's like doesn't, but that's again, it's not a perfect system. There's no SAG helping us out. There's no union. There's no nothing.
But
so.
even with that, like, you still would have issues, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're dealing with personalities, and you're dealing with personalities doing, something that is intimate, and it's less comfortable for some people than it is for other people. I mean, you and I think, can both attest to the fact that not everybody should be in the porn industry. It's not for everyone.
No, they fucking should. Half the time I wonder if I should still be in. It's one of those. I think this job makes you question a lot of the time. It's like, should I be doing this?
It's got to be hard for a guy too, because not only does the whole scene like rely on you and like rest on your shoulders, but also you're the one who, has to have sex with someone who, like you just said, may not necessarily really want to do it, and then you've got this quandary of like, you know what I mean? Like, what do I do here? Like, how do I make this
because it's
feel
like
okay for her?
there is no way to make it. If she's already put to a spot where she doesn't like, there's no. I think I said this the other day. I worked with a girl not too long ago, where
I can use this, right?
yeah, go ahead. Where it's like it was the second time working with her, and the first time wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But I was VR. I was like, maybe there's just VR. She was like, there's a lot of girls here. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm like, cool, whatever. Maybe it's that. And the second time working with her, it's just a boy-girl scene. And she, like, as we said earlier, mediocre sized cock, and this girl's pushing at me like I'm Dread. And I'm just like, I'm open up the camera, so there's not much going inside you. And she's like on my thigh pushing me. I'm like, dude, and cut the camera. I'm like, is there anything to do to make this better for you? She's like, no, it's great. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're giving me all the signs of this is not great and how much you don't want to be here in your face, everything. I'm like, and I was like talking to the director, I was like, dude, she's terrible. I'm like, ugh. God, way to make me feel
Yeah,
pro
but
about
it's
my
also
job.
hard for her because I would imagine that she probably, when you're on set, you have all those people there.
Oh, yeah.
You have all, the expectations there. People's rates are depending on whether or not this is going to go through.
Yep.
Like, to call it off in the middle of all that, it's like,
Oh yeah,
that's rough.
yeah, sucks. So spatchcocking, we'll take this.
Spatchcocking.
So there's the spine right there, right? You're basically gonna cut a line down this way, and you're gonna cut a line down this way. We're gonna rip out the spine like your predator.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know it was going to be so violent.
Oh no, with this.
Oh, with scissors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, this is the tail. I'm just gonna go both sides of it.
Okay. Yikes.
Spatchcocking. What a great thing to learn.
How far down do I go?
Oh, you go until it's you're out the head or out the neck hole. Yeah, this
neck
thing is
hole?
great at cutting bones, not that great at cutting like paper.
This is actually, I was going to say, this is like a very impressive looking scissors. I don't have anything like this.
Yeah, well, I got it just for this particular thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's see.
You got your spatchcock scissors just for me?
Well, no, not for this one. For Thanksgiving last year.
Oh, okay. Now I feel less than special.
Oh, no si puedes.
Okay, so I'm ripping out the spine like Predator.
Yes, ma'am.
Jesus Christ.
Can you even hold it up afterwards?
Wait, isn't it like Mortal Kombat where one of the guys rips out the spine?
Oh, no, that happens all the game.
Oh, the whole game?
Yeah, it's Dante, what's the move called? A finishing move.
I mean, I remember the Mortal Kombat fucking arcade games in the local donut shop down by my house and stop there on my way home from school, get a donut, play some Mortal Kombat. This is before the internet, my friends.
Oh.
There was a time before the internet, my friends.
Simpler time.
Simpler time.
You can throw the trash.
Damn. This
Oh,
was
it had the
very
giblets
violent.
inside of it. Cool.
You don't cook this for the dogs?
Huh?
You don't cook this
I
for
would
the
if we
dogs?
had more.
Oh,
So now here's the fun part. How are
Okay.
you with crunchy noises of bones breaking?
I'm fine.
Cool.
I work in porn.
Yeah, well,
I'm okay with everything.
So what we're gonna do is you're gonna pretty much open this and
Okay.
push down with your fingers, and you're trying to break the ribs and push the spine down so it flattens out.
Okay, gotcha.
There we go.
I mean, how am I in terms of the sound of the noise? I'm fine. How am I in terms of strength and getting this done? Maybe not so
No,
good.
yeah, that worked right. Because
Is that
basically you
good?
just want it flat.
Okay.
So this way you can cook the chicken like this.
Right.
And you basically just put that under there.
Okay.
Under there. Boom, done.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. And then what we're gonna do, because we're gonna put salt and pepper on this bad boy.
Okay.
So if you want to salt and pepper that.
Do you want me to get my salmonella hands all
Here.
over the...
Because we're gonna have to pat it down in it with all the butters and stuff. I'm actually excited about the chicken.
I'm excited about this chicken too. Like I said, I barely ate. Okay, I don't want to put too much on here, so I just want to dust this.
A dusting.
The dusting.
So, on the side of things that have happened, because you were a director for how long?
I mean, I still am a director.
Okay,
So,
so
25 years.
25 years.
I mean, I guess like initially I was a photographer,
good.
right? So basically, like
kind of patted it in.
what I had to do was, as I saw video come along, I recognized that we really had to move forward and start shooting video. My mom was not into that. Like she didn't. She just wanted to do photography. She didn't want to try this new medium. And I remember this one website coming along, and they were, they were pulling a lot of traffic, and we saw them as an up and coming competitor. You want to know what the name of that website was?
Team Skeet.
It was Brazzers.
Ah.
Who are these people
Who is this
are like
weak-ass
spending so much money for affiliate signups and putting out all of this content? We need to keep up with Brazzers, and then obviously they went way above and beyond anything that our little family business was capable of doing.
Also stole everyone's money.
Well, yeah. Different. That was before they became
Oh, became that.
Mind Geek. There's been so many
Flip it over.
changes.
And do the same thing.
Same thing on this side?
Yeah.
So, and that's actually when I was like, okay, my mom and I were butting heads a lot. We were fighting a lot. It's hard to work with your family.
Yeah.
And so
I can imagine it's hard to work with family. It's hard to work with a relationship. It's hard to work with all
So
people you're close to.
So I started my own business, and I decided to go out and start shooting for other companies.
Okay.
And the first one was Adam and Eve. I started shooting photography on-set stills for Jim Malibu. Am I painting both sides?
Yeah, so basically we're dumping some of that on the inside, rubbing it in real good.
With my hands?
Yeah, fucking use your hands. We're not fancy here.
Okay. And
That's good enough. Just like rub it in.
And and that was actually when I really started to learn because, when I was shooting for my mom, I had her assistants, I had her stylists, I had like people basically, I'm not going to lie, like doing it for me. Like I was pushing the button and directing the models, but there was so much hand holding going on there. And it was when I went off on my own, and I'm turning it over, right?
There. Flip
Turning
it
it over on
Yeah, flip
here.
it on this.
Okay. And that's when I realized how little I knew. And that was really kind of like a sink or swim situation. I mean, I remember like coming to these sets and just like not really realizing that I didn't really understand lighting.
They wanted you to do lighting and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you probably know most photographers on movie sets, they don't get an assistant. They
No.
do their own lighting.
No, they don't.
And back then, like, the cameras were not as powerful as they are now, where you could use video lighting instead. Like, it just couldn't read it.
Yeah.
So, so that's when I really started to learn, was when I went off on my own. So I worked for Adam and Eve for a while. I was shooting for my own website and shooting for a lot of magazines. And then I submitted myself to Twisties. And this was 12 years ago. And I shot a scene on spec with Faye Reagan and her boyfriend at the time, Dane something, I think. Anyways, and I turned it into them, and they rejected me. And they said that the scene wasn't any good. Yeah, it was really bizarre. And then, like, a few months later, Shap, who was the owner at the time, like, came back and we had a meeting. The guy who was, like, working there, I don't know, like, didn't like me. Because, look, to be honest, like, the scene was fun. The
Yeah.
scene was more than good enough for them. So it was a really strange reaction. And then Shap came back. We had a meeting. I started shooting for them. And then, basically, I was shooting for them ever since.
Oh, shit.
12 years ago.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Want to wash your hands real fast?
Yes, I would love to wash my hands.
Go ahead.
Am I retarded?
Tap one. It's not always easy. No, it's not. I'm looking at it trying to.
No, you guys talking about super easy.
Kind of a bit of a short we can do. We'll do that in the middle somewhere. Yeah, initially. Okay.
Homemade chicken stock. We're gonna make some potatoes now.
Okay, let's
The-
make some potatoes the wrong way.
The absolute wrong way.
The wrong way.
I would like to.
Please show me how you make the potatoes the
yeah.
wrong way. Nathan.
Well, I want to know your family. So you would peel them, you cut them. Was it just cut into 4 parts, or were we making
it
like
depends on
dice?
how big they are. Generally halves or maybe quarters. That big, maybe quarters.
All right, so
yeah, so that
you-
they cook more evenly. And then you peel them, you boil them for a little bit to soften them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would put them back in the pan and you kind of let them steam dry a little bit, and then you'd like rough them up so that the texture, well, it's not skin anymore, but it got kind of rough, and then the duck fat,
Mm.
and then you roast it slowly in the oven for like 2 hours. Because the whole idea behind all of this, and we're actually not doing like a proper English roast because
Nope.
we're doing a chicken. We would do like a big beef roast most of the time, but
Yeah.
I just didn't want to go there today. Is that you would prep all of this and then you would put it in the oven, and then you would go to church for 2 hours, and then when you came back from church, the food would be ready. Now, of course, my parents were not really church-going people, but you know that's kind of where the tradition I think started and originated.
On that same note, so I'm guessing your mom was a photographer. Was she a photographer in England?
So she started off as a model in England.
Okay, so that's how it got into doing the porn.
Yeah, so basically, my mom's story is she was a model. So she was a nurse initially, and then she met my father at a party when she was 22. And they fell in love instantly. It's like a really sweet, like, love at first sight, like,
Aw.
story. Yeah, it's really lovely. I actually interviewed my dad, and like a couple of years before he died, and he talked about that first time of meeting my mom and the electricity that they both felt, and it was really sweet. And I was able to like play that at his funeral, which like there wasn't a dry eye in the house. So you know, they had this really great love story, but also very unique because they were swingers and they went to orgy parties
Yeah.
and they fucked other people, and
That
you know,
that was my next question.
yeah, they did all that, but they were still like, you know, my mom slept with a lot of guys, especially when she was at the Playboy Mansion. But like my father was always like the only one for her. It was the 60s, darling, as
Yeah.
she likes to say. So it wasn't. It was the early 70s, but whatever.
So Holly, another fan question we have for you is, as porn stars have no list, do directors also have no list for performers?
I do have no list. There's
Yeah.
very rare. I really, really do like 98% of the people that I work with. I really do honestly love them. But there's just a couple of people that I'm just like,
Can't
I
do.
don't vibe with. And they don't know that, to be fair. I'm very careful to not, you know, express that someone's driving me crazy on set because, again, like I want them to have a good experience. But if they push me over the edge, if they're extraordinarily difficult or just unprofessional, yeah, I will say I'm not shooting that person again.
On that same note, could you give us, don't have to say names, but would you tell us about one of these extraordinarily frustrating experiences? Because I've been in, like, a lot of people didn't know how maddening this job can be. And sometimes it's not exactly the dumb scripts or the time or this or that. It can be the other performer bringing a certain level of frustration.
Yeah.
So as a director, and I know like the obvious ones, guy's dick doesn't work, girls doing anal, she just can't clean out right. Those are whatever. But like, what's something that someone brought to the table that was just like, why?
So if they really don't respect my time, that's like the most frustrating thing. I had a model once who I shot for Twisty's Treat of the Month, who showed up 2 hours late. And this was at a house that like was really hard to get. I had a very limited amount of time there. I mean, locations are always like my biggest problem, right? So I had a limited amount of time there. She showed up 2 hours late, literally told me as she was getting out of the car that the reason she was late was because she did too much cocaine the night before.
It happens.
And couldn't get out of bed. And to be fair, I sort of was like, okay, I kind of respect you for not lying to me and coming up with some bullshit excuse and, you know, telling me that legitimately it was because you did too much blow last night, but also like, you know, zero apologies. And then when we were on set, you know, one of the things that Twisty's asks is, please, like, keep this under wraps until we release you as Treat of the Month. She was live streaming the whole time. She was, like, posting story. Like, she didn't give a fuck. Like, just no respect for me, no respect for my crew. And I can't handle because, like, that's unfair.
Yeah. Well, some people are just great, you know?
Yeah.
Some
And
people
then
are
also, like, liars.
Yeah.
Like, there are unfortunately some people who will lie about the conditions on set, who will say things that happened that didn't happen. That almost never happens.
Yeah.
But it happens sometimes, and it's usually the same people. And I find those people dangerous to work with, and I won't put myself in that position. So I'm making these incorrectly, right?
I mean, you can call it what you want. I mean, it's like.
So how do I make these incorrectly? Because I don't know.
Me personally,
am I cutting this out?
I mean, it's, whatever you want to call it. So I just cut nice long ways there, and then I cut it here. But if we want to go smaller, you know.
Okay, so like, are we doing? Okay.
We want to do fours. We want to do smaller.
Okay. All right.
I'm not sure how to fake the British luncheon tea, if you will. And thank God we didn't go with the actual making tea too, because that would have added a lot more time to this meal.
Well, making the tea is not hard. I mean, you know, honestly, so first of all, like, you got to get the proper. Well, look, everybody has their preference, but for me, PG Tips is the right tea. That has the most amount of caffeine, which is what we all want in our lives.
Yes.
And that is what a lot of people drink in England. A lot of people think that like English drink Earl Grey or you know, English breakfast, which, you know, some do, but PG Tips is a big one.
Now, how do you take yours?
So the one thing that I see in this country sometimes, which makes me crazy, is when they bring you a cup of hot water and a tea bag separately. That is not how you do it. You put the tea bag in the cup first, and then you pour the scalding hot water on top of the tea bag so that it properly brews. You do not bring me a steaming fucking cup of water and then ask me to put the tea bag in afterwards, because by then, like, the water's cooled down a little bit, and it's just not the right way to make tea, people. Like, come on.
What do you like to drink? Or not, sorry, drink. What do you like to eat with your tea?
Scones.
Yeah?
I love scones with clotted cream. That's, you know, very traditional English tea. We used to go to England and visit my great aunt a lot, and she used to always make like a proper English tea, and I have very fond memories of that as a kid, going and having tea. And I mean, I was a kid, so I didn't really drink the tea, but like the little cakes, the finger sandwiches, the scones and clotted cream. She used to have these big blackberry bushes in the back, and I would just go out to the backyard and like eat the blackberries right off the bush and play badminton in the backyard.
Yeah.
No,
Where,
it's really
like,
fun.
can you say what city or where did you used to go?
Yeah, so my mother's from Worcester.
Okay.
So, or Worcestershire. So that's generally where we went. That's where my grandmother lived. That's where my great aunt lived. And then we would go to London too, because we had some family there. But Worcester is where my family is mostly concentrated.
That's one of my another one of the goals is because I've gone to England handful times now, and I want to go up and down the coast because it's just such a beautiful country.
So beautiful, and you can drive across England in like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's nice, right? My big pet peeve with that fucking country is the lack of gas stations right off the highway.
Yeah.
It's like you'll be driving for 4 hours. It's like, I need to piss, bro.
But they're like actual pit stops that have like the food.
Yeah, they're great.
It's
great.
like a mall.
Oh,
It's gas and food and restaurants. I mean, like
it's-
playgrounds, like no joke.
It's way better than when you find those nice truck stops when you're going down across America.
Yeah.
Way cleaner, way
Yeah.
nicer. And
Well,
they
they're
also-
like very strategically planned.
Yeah.
I guess you have to plan your shit.
Yeah, see, I didn't
when you're in
plan.
England.
Yeah, I didn't know that because I just figured every country, if they have a highway going across,
Right.
there'd be a gas station right off.
Did you not read the directions to visiting England?
No, I don't. No,
Like,
no.
you
what
didn't
I-
read the directions about the
See,
potatoes?
what I do about everything is like, let's just fucking roll the dice and see what happens. Sometimes good things happen, you
You
know?
know, it's an adventure.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I do with these?
So what we're gonna do is
abominations?
we're gonna put it in we're gonna heat up the water right now. I just
Okay.
seasoned it. We're gonna let that boil for a second, get to a boil. We're gonna dump those in there, let
Okay.
it cook, and then we're gonna start making the gravy.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure what your guys' gravy would be a part of with your chicken. If you guys had a certain type of gravy, or
We would just make like a basic gravy that we would put on the roast potatoes. I mean,
Okay.
you can't have roast potatoes without gravy.
yeah, no, just want to make sure
These
that.
things, I don't know.
Just
You
wanna
could
make sure I
probably
didn't fuck
do
up more
whatever
anymore.
You wanted to do with these things, but roast potatoes must have gravy.
Well, good.
Let's crack open the roast potatoes for the fluffy inside, and then pour the gravy inside the potato.
Okay. You know, now I'm really losing my confidence with the mashed potatoes, but you know what? I'm gonna fucking serve up the chicken and the gravy, and that's gonna fucking shoot it in the face. That's fine. Fine with that.
Nathan, can you ask her about being a female director on set?
Yeah, sure. So, Holly,
So Nathan,
as we know, there's a lot of dick as a director in this job, right? Lots of penises. How is it like to be a female? Because I'm not sure at the time when you started how many female directors besides your mom, because she was only doing photography.
Yeah.
But how many female directors are actually in this business?
not many. I mean, I remember, you know, again, like I started off as a photographer like my mom, and pretty much we were like the only two. There was one other woman that I think shot for Club for a time, and then she kind of disappeared. But, you know, there's still not enough female directors in the industry now, but there definitely wasn't any when I started. And I will say that, you know, I mean, I know that I've heard feedback from a lot of performers, especially if they're new, that they feel more comfortable with a woman. But I also I'm sometimes careful to say like, oh, because I'm a woman, I do a better job or whatever. Because there's a lot of great male directors who are wonderful, and you know, women love working with and treat them really well. So like, I don't want to be one of those people like, just because I'm a woman, like I can do it better. Because then it's like, what's the difference between saying just because I'm a man, I can do it better? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I will say that like generally, especially newer talent, feel more comfortable with me. I feel like sometimes there's more attention to detail. Like I'm very specific about makeup and hair. I'm very picky about my makeup and hair artists because I find that a bad makeup artist can really like ruin a look. I mean, I also like pay attention to small details like tags in clothes, tags on the bottom of shoes, poses, trying to make sure that the girl like really is doing a pose where her body looks her best. I can recognize what a girl might be insecure about and have her pose in a way where she addresses those flaws. And I also know how to speak to them in a way where I can talk about trying to hide these little flaws without saying something like, hide your fat rolls, you know, I won't say something like that. I'd be like, hey, move your arm up a little bit. We just want to like block those creases in your waist, you know, stuff like that. Just the way that I say things.
Oh, man.
So that it doesn't feel aggressive and, you know, that I'm judging them or that I'm kind of pointing out like things for them to be insecure about.
Oh, I've heard the director say, like go and I was like, oh my god,
Yeah, no,
why are
no.
you guys putting me in a bad spot? I have to fuck this chicken.
Yeah, you don't talk to people like that. Like you gotta just, I'm very good at being careful about how I say things.
Yeah, one thing this job has definitely shown me is how to communicate in a way that is not offensive unless it's like, just try not to be as least offensive as possible.
Yeah, try to be
because
as least offensive as possible is probably like a good like piece of advice to anyone who wants to be in the porn industry.
Because it's like, I don't know what your day's like or what this person's day's like, and I want to get shot again. So it's like, how can I be like, hi?
Yeah.
You know, it is. It's been an interesting road on that one.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like some of your directors that you think should really have like a shout out in this job, what are like some of the other ones besides yourself that you really think that like put some good work in? You know.
I mean, like, I'm always gonna, give a shout out to my girl, Casey Calvert.
Oh,
Like,
of course.
I love her.
She's lovely.
just, it's funny because I actually had a meeting with her this morning and I was talking to my DP about her on the way here because we're doing a project with her. But she's just
Is that next month?
Huh?
Is that next month?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one I'm in?
No.
Oh. I'm in a thing with her, so it was like for like almost a week.
No. It's not, sorry.
Whatever.
There's actually no dick in it at all.
Oh. Weird.
I know, right? Who's gonna watch that?
Yeah.
But she really knows what she's talking about. Like she understands cameras, she understands lighting, she knows how to deal with people. She's very methodical. She plans everything out really well. And having been a performer and still being a performer, I think she understands what it's like to be in front of the camera, which a lot of people don't. Which honestly, like I didn't really understand until I did a little bit of modeling myself, and I mean really like until I did adult film school and I was the host of a show and I was the talent for like 3 seasons. I didn't get how exhausting it is mentally to be in front of the camera, like regardless of whether or not you're taking your clothes off. If you're having a bad day, you can't just like, if I'm having a bad day, I can come in and I can be kind of grumpy and I can just sit behind my camera like, ooh. But if you're in front of the camera and you need to be a certain way and you've had a shitty morning, you gotta like get your head right to do that, and that's fucking hard.
It's neat, right?
Yeah.
You got.
So I would say like Casey. I mean, obviously like Caden Cross has been doing some incredible stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch porn.
Well, no, I'm not talking about as a
Except
person.
for my own.
No, dude.
Because I have to QC it.
I don't watch porn,
I
but
don't
like
watch
I'm
porn.
saying in the sense of like what directors do you respect for doing the job?
Yeah, I would say like Casey for sure, Caden. I know Ricky Greenwood does like some amazing stuff. I mean, that guy works super hard. I mean, Mike Quasar, like he's one of my best friends. I fucking love that guy. Like,
Quasar still needs you on.
You should. That would be fun.
I've been trying to get him on for like 4 years. It's since the show started. It's just, he probably a little bit better now to get him on, but just like it was so hard to get him on because he works fucking 4 shoots a day.
But he doesn't do that anymore because he's under contract, so he doesn't shoot that much.
Oh, okay, maybe I need to get him back on.
So no, you should hit him up. He's in a good place right now.
Yeah, him and Jackie, I've been trying to get him for a very long time.
Yeah, Jackie, I know works a lot. I mean, that's another person who I very much respect. Jackie's great. But yeah, I mean, what I love about Mike is that, he always complains like, oh, I hate this job, blah, 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 I just want to go home. But like, there is no like more efficient or like technically knowledgeable director than that guy.
Yeah.
Like he undersells himself all the time, but he's actually very good at his job and he's so efficient and knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. You're out of there in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Almost every time. And like it can be faster as long as we're not moving the shot from this one angle, but get it all done right there.
Yeah, no, he's the master of efficiency. Nobody is faster than Mike Quasar.
No. I've seen people try, but fail miserably.
Some people are painfully long.
All right, we have another fan question for Holly. How does Twisties come up with the themes for the shoots for the Twisties Treat of the Month?
So they have a few people that are kind of like their creative producers, and basically they come up with it. Sometimes I get to come up with the idea. I will say actually what I feel was the best scene that I shot, technically it was last year, but I guess it would be in the runnings for noms this year, is the Kaylee Gunner Treat of the Month shoot, where we did a rain shoot. So we built out like a whole rain rig.
Yeah.
And I remember like saying the idea, kind of being like, God, this would be really cool. And then Twisty's being like, oh my gosh, yes, we want to do it. And then once we started to get into the logistics of doing it, and I was like, I very much regret bringing this idea.
What time of year did you do it?
We did it inside. We did it, it was the November Treat of the Month, I think. So it was inside, so it wasn't that, but it was just like, how do I not get her makeup to run the whole time? Because the rain's on her the whole time. She had an umbrella that she played with a little bit, but the rain's on her the whole time. How do we not flood out the studio? Like, how do I stop her eyes from turning red because they're so irritated from the water? And like the water we kept warm, but like eventually,
cold.
It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
And so like we, and I thank God, I gotta say thank God for Kaylee. Like that girl is such a fucking trooper.
She's a bad
and
bitch.
She's such a hard worker, and she didn't complain once. I think shooting that scene with anybody else would have been really difficult, but it turned out, of course, amazing.
You know, it doesn't seem like most of the most painful scenes are
Yes.
always the ones that look the best.
Of course. But like when you're in the moment, you're
Yeah.
just like, why did I come up with this idea? This is terrible. And then after it's done and it's edited, you're like, yes, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, I remember there's one a while back. I think Casey did this one, but it was a group orgy in the ring.
Yes, because she came to me and asked me if she could shoot it at my ranch, and I was like, fuck no.
Yeah, and like I think she did it at her warehouse.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like, oh, that looks so cool. And I think it was Dante Cole was in it too. And I was like, hey, I was like, dude, that fucking sucked, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look, an orgy in the rain,
Yeah, it's
like, it sounds great. But
visually, it's like wow, but then reality is like,
sex and water in general does not sound good. Like,
then that whole thing where
you
the
lose
lube,
the lube.
yeah,
Like sex on the beach, everyone's like, oh, that's so romantic. Like sex up your ass, sex like, you know, I mean, sand up your ass, like sand in the vagina.
it's all just delicious.
It's just awful. Like I remember my biggest dream was to shoot on the beach, and I finally did it for Playboy, so it was a solo.
Okay.
And it was a nightmare. The girl got stung by like a fucking wasp that was hiding in the sand. It was hot, the wind, like the reflector. Some guys like pulled up on a yacht and were like watching. It was just like, it was a lot. Am I putting this whole thing in there?
No, we're gonna cut. Sorry, I was.
Okay.
I'm just now thinking about another question I wanted to ask because something that I think a lot of people don't understand because when you're watching a porno, you see it for what it is: hot, sexy. You know, the visual of people fucking.
Yeah. You don't see
Let's do
behind.
like about that much.
Okay.
But what, in the eyes of you, who's been doing this for a while, has been one of the issues? Like,
ready?
yeah, throw it in.
Are you ready for my butter?
Do it.
You ready for my butter?
Fast.
It's not sizzling, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah, well, that's 'cause it wasn't on yet.
It sounds like it is.
But my big things I've found is leaf blowers, airplanes, and schools.
Dude, sound is the biggest problem. That's actually why I loved shooting for Playboy for all those years, because it was all softcore and it was all such a music and I didn't have to worry about audio. And it was awesome. Audio is the biggest problem. It's like the rule that the minute you start shooting dialogue or sound, the fucking gardeners show up next door.
Yep.
Like
Or dogs.
every time. Or dogs,
Yeah.
or the kids are home from school and they're playing in the backyard and you can fucking hear them and you're like, now you got to move the shoot inside.
Yep.
Because you can't go next door and be like, hey, I'm about to shoot a porn in this backyard. Can you please take your children inside? Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
They apparently think frown upon that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, change of plan.
We're making a roux right now.
A what?
A roux.
A roux?
Yeah.
What's that?
A roux is the basis of making gravy. So you it's butter, a little flour, then you toast that flour up till it gets a little bit darker. Then we put heavy cream in there with the juices from the chicken.
Okay, so yeah, what we would do is we would do the juices from the chicken and then like the flour and the butter, but we never added the heavy cream. And I feel like the gravy was always the biggest struggle. Like it was so hard to get it not lumpy.
Yeah, so that could actually help. But also we'll do with just some of the juices from that. We'll use chicken broth and some of the juices from the chicken.
Okay.
And we'll see how that looks, and then we'll move in from there if it needs some heavy cream to get the lumps out of it. Question.
Ask her what the grossest thing she's seen on set is.
Fantastic. What is the grossest thing you've seen on set?
I know people always want like some crazy story where it's like she pooped everywhere and it was all over the walls, but like that really doesn't happen.
No?
I mean, no, there was.
I've seen girls try to squirt and just.
There was one time when a girl, she did an enema and I think there was still some liquid stuck up in there and she kind of, expelled some brown water on the other guy and she was so embarrassed, but he didn't care.
No.
I didn't care. Like, if you've been in this industry long enough, like you're going to get shit on. That's just like how it is. And you need to accept that. You need to be a grown up about getting poop on you. Otherwise, this industry isn't for you.
Yeah, 100%.
So-
Blood, poop, it just happens.
Yeah, I mean, another girl, I've had girls like start to bleed in the middle of a scene and like get it all over the furniture. The worst, I will say, and this isn't disgusting, but this is more like problematic for me. One of my least favorite things is a surprise squirter. If you're going to squirt, I need to know.
Yeah.
Unless obviously we're doing a squirting scene and it's expected. But I remember I was shooting this girl on like it was just a solo, so I wasn't expecting it, on a nice purple velvet couch, and bitch squirted all over it. And I was like horrified. Like, I remember she's in the middle of squirting, and I'm like, no, stop. Which of course I didn't say because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, she's already squirting, so I may as well get the scene. And then afterwards, she was done. I like ran in there, like threw her off. I'm like, why did you tell me you were gonna squirt? And I'm like, trying to mop up the fucking couch. I'm like, am I gonna have to replace this guy's couch? He's already like kind of iffy about me shooting at his place. And I ended up like cleaning it the best I could, and then I like took the cushion on outside and I like put a fan on it for like the rest of the shoot, and like dried it out, and then just flipped the cushion, and never heard anything about it. But this is why people are hesitant to let you shoot at your location, because you might squirt on their couch and not tell them.
I'm thinking, now that we're talking more British on this too, I think we use a little more chicken broth than we do heavy cream.
All right.
Because it's like, it gives it a little bit more of a wateriness to it instead of a thicker. I think that goes a little bit more British on that. I don't know. You're telling me.
You consider British gravy to be watery?
Not watery, but thinner than like a thick gravy that you'd find in America, like a white gravy that goes on like biscuits gravy. That's
Okay, yes,
Okay.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
You're trying to insult my heritage.
No, because I'm very much
You
white.
Brits and your thin gravy.
I'm very much white and from England too at a certain point. Okay?
So, a question for you about cooking. So, the cookware matters very much, right? Like the quality of your cookware.
Yes.
And then,
Well, what my old chef used to tell me was, your pan, if you could hit someone in the head with it and it wouldn't do anything, it's a good pan.
and it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, like
to the
that. It's not.
pan.
Yeah, like there's so many
To-
pans where like the handle come off or anything like that.
Okay,
so.
okay, but the person. Okay, I thought you
Yeah,
meant like
no.
the person would be knocked out.
Yeah, of course, the person can be
Basically,
knocked
if
the
you
fuck out.
okay, gotcha. I thought you meant wouldn't do anything, like the person wouldn't feel it. I'm like, I feel like that's a weak pan, but you mean the opposite.
Yeah.
The pan would not bear the brunt of the attack, but the person would be unconscious on the floor.
Yeah.
That's how you test a good pan.
That'd be my idea on what a good pan would be.
Gotcha.
That smells nice.
But isn't like the quality like what kind of material is best? Just iron? I mean, because we use cast iron a lot.
A cast iron is one of the ones that I know is just so universally, you can use it for almost everything,
Yeah.
right? But at certain points, like what I'm gonna just go for is a good one of these. Just this. They'll get fucked up after a while, but it's non-stick. If you're just looking for a good non-stick pan.
But not Teflon, right?
Uh-huh.
Teflon, I think like Teflon's bad for you.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the stuff that makes it non-stick is bad for you if you use like forks on it. So one of the things I always tell people, don't use a fucking fork on this
you're,
because
like, scraping off the
you're
surface.
scraping off that stuff, and over time, if you scrape that off, it actually can give you cancer.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah, but like what doesn't give you cancer these days? So
This is true.
so it's kind of one of those up in the air
We're
things.
all gonna die anyways.
Yeah, we're all gonna die, guys. Stop your fucking complaining. That's very chickeny.
How did you get into cooking?
Anthony Bourdain.
Really?
Yeah,
He must have been so sad when he died.
I was.
That was very unexpected. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just gonna make keeps.
It just
low.
goes to show, like, the people that you can look up to and admire the most
Yeah.
are the people who can be in the most amount of pain.
Yeah.
You know,
and
like
from
we look up to these people and we think like, oh, they have everything, and like money and fame, like all that shit, like that's just not enough. And sometimes I forget that. I find that I forget that a lot.
Well-
And then I go and I like do something that grounds me, and I'm like, oh right, like none of that shit matters.
think of it this
know?
way: I mean, how many guys wish they could be me? In the sense of how
I
many
mean-
people I fuck.
Nobody.
Yeah, I fucking agree with you. I'm not saying that as me being a
No,
douche. I'm saying that as that's like
absolutely.
every guy wants to fuck all these girls, right?
Yeah.
Until you have to be the guy who fucks all these girls, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I just want to go to a water park that has all its rides open. Magic fucking Mountain, you pieces of shit. Gone there twice. Half your park's closed.
You're not worried about getting like pink eye from that shit? Wait a minute. You eat girls' asses
I eat
for a
ass
living.
all day.
What am I saying?
Yeah, I was like, give me that butt. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Have you ever gotten pink eye from a scene?
No, I'm fucking stoked. I did get ringworm during that ringworm
Oh,
epidemic. though.
everyone got ringworm, man.
There was a point where everyone was getting ringworm, and the guys would get ringworm here, girls would get ringworm here.
Because we knew there was one couch that fucking ringworm was living on.
Was that at fucking what's his name?
I don't know. I don't think anybody ever traced it back, but there was a lot of theories on where it came from. And there's a couple of locations. This is why the perfect porn couch matters, and I've said this to people. I've actually schooled location owners on how to get the perfect porn couch. You do not want fabric.
No.
Because fluids get in there, they stay in there, bacteria lives on there. You want a fake leather that you can easily clean and wipe down.
Agreed.
And so there was some fabric couch out there that was fucking dirty, that got ringworm, and then just kept giving it to everybody, and then people just passed on to everybody else. And it got to the point where I had to inspect bodies before we started shooting. And there were some girls where I was like, oh, you got it, you got to go home. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, right there. And I'm like,
I thought that was razor burn. Yeah, so did I.
And then because ringworm's one of the things that I can catch just by picking up the wardrobe and the blankets and stuff like that. So I've got gloves on. I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want fucking ringworm.
So let's see. That's going.
Still want to be a porn star?
How do you feel about mutilation to your own penis?
Oh God!
Because over time, things have changed for me. I will smash my dick into things.
And you don't feel it?
Some days, dude. At the end, I'll have a girl. I'm like, I want you to grab my balls and I want you to pull on them hard. Because I can't feel shit. Because also at a certain point when it's I've been on it all day, we've been rubbing on it, or this or that, or just my ADD brain goes off and it's just hard to focus in on that one thing now.
I know Tommy Pistol likes girls to be very aggressive.
Oh, I love him.
I mean, everybody loves him, but I'm always like, oh my God, is he not hurt?
Oh, dude, sometimes you just need that. I remember me and him talking about this one set that we were both on, and let's just say the girls were being less than giving a fuck about being there, and he ended up asking a person who used to be a performer in the 80s, before that, except she was a very older performer, and he's like, show me your tits or something. And she did, and he was able to get through the scene. And I was like, oh man, I wish I did that, because I was having the same struggle with these stupid girls. I'm like, just show me something that makes me think that you kind of want me. Oh, that's nice.
I had one guy that I shot, and this was actually when I was shooting for Playgirl, and this was a problematic thing for me because I was the only woman on set, and I wasn't going to show you my tits. This is before I was showing the world my tits, which I do now at onlyfans.com/moreholly. Anyways, so back then I wasn't, but this guy had a foot fetish, and so
nice.
he would ask me, he's like, could you just take your shoes off and shoot all day with your shoes off? And I'm like, okay, sure. And it'd be so funny because he'd be trying to get hard because we were, we just shoot the guy hard by himself. Yeah. Which is difficult.
It sucks. I've done it.
Yeah. And and he would just look down at my feet. So his dick would go down and then he'd look at my feet and then his dick would just go back up again. It was just... And then at lunch he asked me if he could give me a foot massage, which at first I was creeped out by. I was like, I don't think so. And he's like, no, it'll help me get through the shoot. I'm like, okay, then that's fine. And then he gave me a foot massage. I'm like, this is awesome.
Dude, honestly,
I wish I shot more guys that have foot fetish. This is great.
There's so many times where I'm like, I've met guys who have that foot fetish, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I had that, man. Just be able to look at it.
I know, right?
I get
feet. I'm like, what's...
They're nice. I'll suck on some toes because I've had people suck on my feet. Feels great. Nice. But in general, I'm just like, it doesn't do it, and I fucking wish I had that, man. Because there's one performer that everyone fucking knows, and this guy's so in love with feet. And he's got a wall of fucking girls' shoes that he paid for and whatnot. And but that guy could just stare at feet and just get right up. And I'm like,
if only it was that easy.
Fucking jealous.
What does get you going?
Puddles outside? Come on in, Puddles. Things get me going. Let's say during a scene, someone who actually wants to be there. That's first off. No, don't get me wrong.
My biggest turn on is people who actually want to do their job. I hear you on that.
Dude, there's some days where I'm just like, you know what's you've worked with someone a handful of times and you're like, I enjoy working with this person, and they're just giving me that vibe they don't want to be there. Who would have guessed? That is just not a turn on for me because I'm not a rapist. So that usually stops it right there. But then there's days where I'm like, I don't know why my dick's working.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time it's just like having someone who actually wants to do, like,
Yeah.
be there and who wants to kind of fuck you and like we
Yeah.
just want to have that good day.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is the same thing for you. If you want to feel good about what you're doing, it's like
Yeah.
just enjoying the person enjoying being
Yeah.
there, which doesn't happen every day. But when
Yeah.
it does happen, it's like chasing that heroin, you know?
Yeah. No, people ask me, they're like, what makes a good scene? I'm like, the performers. It's always the performers.
Yeah.
It's like, if you've got people that are happy to be there, the vibe's good, everybody's like having a good time, like those are the best days.
Yeah. So that's what I like most. You know what? So that's gonna go in the oven in a second. So what we're gonna do, Martha Stewart this bitch.
What does that mean? Does that mean Snoop Dogg's coming on?
Oh no.
Oh.
We pull out the chicken that you cooked yourself.
Oh my goodness, look how amazing my chicken looks that I cooked all by myself. Look at that spattercock. Look at that spattercock. It's the best
Spatchcock.
spattercock you've ever seen. Good? Okay, I will say those potatoes look pretty good.
Let's see.
I mean, they're not, the traditional, but I'm sure they'll be delicious. I mean, let's be honest here. You're a chef. I am not.
A little more salt and pepper, but
Yeah, those are great with the gravy. They'll be
Yeah.
great.
what's that?
If they were crunchy, they'd be better. Just saying.
Oh. Yeah, but my chicken broth I made the other day, great. How are you at cutting up a chicken?
I'm okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm all right.
fantastic. So let's move this guy. Whoops. And go on nothing. Don't worry about it. Boom. Put all the rest of that. Boom. So
Do
let's
you
cut.
have a fork for me?
Oh, I could.
Thank you.
Oh, that smells
What is your favorite part of the chicken?
my favorite thigh.
Same. I'm
All
a
day.
dark meat girl.
There's if you're asking my personal opinion, I don't care if it's health, I don't care what the reason is. Fuck breasts.
Yeah, I don't like breasts
they
either.
dry out. One of the
Am I
things.
just cutting up this entire thing?
Just cut it up however you want it. We'll pull a plate and we'll serve this bad boy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I am not a breast girl. I actually love, like when you get the skin really crispy.
You want to see it?
I eat the skin.
I think you missed it. So you got to come on this side a little bit because there's a little bit of a vein that goes up with cartilage. There you go.
Didn't we rip the spine out?
No, that's in between the breast.
Oh, right. So do you just cut that out?
Oh no, you just cut this way. So you just follow the bones.
Gotcha.
So you go here.
I'm really
and
good
then-
at carving up a chicken, apparently.
Yeah, go that way and just carve that way.
Gotcha.
I've done a lot of them. So.
We always I don't know why, but I don't live in a very traditional family, and obviously my mom was kind of the one who wore the pants.
Yeah.
But we still have this weird tradition where the man carves up the meat. We
Well-
always I don't know, my dad would do it or my husband will do it.
Do you ever find that such an interesting thing that, okay, women belong in the kitchen, but the guy would carve up the meat, or
Yeah.
the guy would do the barbecuing, but the woman would do this.
But the funny thing is that my dad actually was the cook, and my husband is the cook.
Yeah.
My mom and I are not the cook. I mean, I can cook, but my husband always almost always does the cooking, and my dad always did the cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of role reversal there.
So why don't you just cut this bad boy up a little bit, and we'll serve ourselves some stuff up.
Okay.
How many potatoes you want?
I'll take 2.
And there's a little bit of onions on there too, which is a
Love
little bit more.
onions. I'm
more
all about
American.
onions. What is the kind? What food do you hate? What will you not eat?
Who do I hate?
No food, not people.
People I hate.
You hate everybody. We know this.
It's fucking everyone. Let's see. Food do I hate? Tequila. It's not a food group. Olives.
Same.
Fucking hate olives,
Same.
man.
Do not like olives, and I have tried to revisit olives
Oh.
at various points in my life because I understand that your taste changes as you get older.
Yeah.
Still don't like them.
Lots of I do enjoy fish. I enjoy sushi, but baked fish,
Really?
not a huge fan. Yeah.
That's I delight in baked fish.
Yeah, it's like there's something about like, and now it might change if I can get back out there and go spearfishing a little more often and go get something and bring it back. I learn how to cook it because I found that when I learn how to cook something, I enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, well, and also like if you're cooking a fish that you literally just caught,
Yeah.
there's a massive difference in how it tastes than like when you buy it at the store.
Nathan, the fans are asking if you have any kitchen war stories.
Yeah, I fucking jammed the knife right into my finger twice, 3 times, multiple times. I've cut my hands so many times in kitchens. I have one buddy who was taking out a bunch of cans, and I'm not sure if you guys know this about cans. They're really fucking sharp, and he sliced his hand right open. And he didn't stick around to work the rest of the day, which I thought was bullshit. Just over the potatoes?
You can do it all over everything. I mean,
That's
since, you know, this is not a traditional.
Is it good luck to throw salt over your shoulder?
In the kitchen or in porn?
Both.
I don't believe in superstitions.
Is it good luck? I don't fucking know. It really has. Luck has not helped me. Besides, what has helped me?
Luck
Perseverance.
No, luck is opportunity meets preparation. That's what luck is.
Then they said, or is it sugar over your right shoulder that brings true love?
I have
Pepper.
never done either. And I would say I love my husband. So I think I achieved that without the sugar throwing.
Yeah. Let's put this over here. Which one do you want?
I don't mind.
Would you like a fork?
Yes. Do I look like a fucking animal?
No.
Oh. I'm so interested to see too how you cut with a knife and fork. That is another like big thing that my parents were big on was table manners.
No,
and
no.
the correct usage of a knife and a fork.
So-
And literally when I would go on a date with a guy, I would watch how he held his knife and his fork, and if he held it incorrectly, if he did this stabbing thing.
Oh, I don't do that. But here's one thing I did find out when
No second
when
date.
I went to England, right? One of the things they do is eat slow. I do not do that. I eat fast because in
I
my
feel like you do everything fast.
yeah. Hey, never came fast on your set,
This is true. This is true. This is true.
but it was
Which we appreciate.
yeah. But which it is one of those things that actually, just
Alright, this will be a short, so do big reactions on how you feel about the food.
that brush is really good. Okay. All right. And maybe it's not like Mama made it, but you know.
No, it's look, Nathan, it's delicious, and I appreciate you feeding me. This is great. I mean, the only thing that I offer at my podcast is liquid death. Is somebody sends me cases and cases of it,
I'm talking about you.
And,
You gave me coffee.
and coffee, and we've actually added a little snack bar. We
Oh.
like pretzels,
Oh.
basically. And I always record it like during lunchtime, so I'm always starving afterwards. So this is lovely.
How do you pick your guests?
So, yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, like, a lot of times I have to look at follower count and popularity because, like, I have sponsors and they expect a certain number of downloads. And especially with YouTube, because it's so arbitrary, because it's all about the algorithm, I have to, like, consider that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer because, look, to be honest, like, some of my best interviews have been, like, people who aren't big stars and it doesn't get a lot of traction. The numbers are not very high, but, like, the interviews themselves are awesome and, like, the information is really great. Like, sex therapists, I've had journalists on, comedians, and, like, really interesting stuff. And, like, nobody watches it because, like, they only want to, like, hear Angela White talk about gangbangs.
Yeah, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Which is kind of a bummer. I mean, don't get me wrong, gangbangs and Angela White are great, and I could listen to Angela White talk about gangbangs all day. But like,
I could just
I'd
listen
like
to Angela
also
White
have
talk.
other. I know. But
She's so nice.
her also as well. She's lovely.
But yeah, and the last question I got, because it's like one of the things that I found really interesting being on your show, which I think you have this problem too, is like the people you want to bring on, not like the people we have on aren't the people we don't, but I want to bring on other people, but the people don't give a fuck about that, at least the followers that we have. And it is such a bummer as someone who wants to have more interesting, more things on. Like we're about to have some stump people on next month, and I know the viewer count's not going to be up.
You have to recognize your niche.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's so many fucking podcasts out there. Everyone's got a podcast, and you have to recognize what your audience is looking for and the niche that they want. And my audience is 96% men, and they want to hear from big-titted ladies.
Yeah. And by the way, I've met a bunch of stunt people who saw me on your show. So apparently, you have a good chunk of the stunt community watching.
Oh, stunt
Yeah.
people! I said stunt people. I'm like, are these people with no legs?
Yeah. No, well,
Stunt people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
It does surprise me sometimes, like the people who watch my show. I had Laura Desiree on, and she told me that like some guy in Starbucks like recognized her from my show, and I was always like,
Isn't it weird when people recognize you because of the show you do?
that almost never happens to me, by the way.
No.
No, I never get recognized.
I AVN last year, I had people come up to me, like this random dude from South America. He's like, Nathan! I'm like, oh, he knows me because I'm porn. He's like, oh, I love cooking with Nathan. Can I get an interview with you? I'm like, yeah, fucking hey, man.
Isn't it shocking when people like to hear you talk?
Yeah. I'm still surprised about it.
I am too.
But anyway, why don't they tell everyone where they can find you, what's new, all the stuff that's going on?
Yes. So you can find me I'm at Holly Randall on Twitter or X and Instagram. You can go to hollylinks.com for all of, I don't know what camera to look into. Doesn't matter, that one. Okay. You can go to hollylinks.com for all of the links to all of my platforms because I do have a lot of them. And my podcast is Holly Randall Unfiltered, which you can find on YouTube and on all podcast platforms. And my OnlyFans is moreholly.com because who doesn't need more of this?
The pregnant pictures were hot, by the way.
Ew.
Hey guys, thank you so much for coming to another episode of Cooking with Nathan. If you liked the episode, please like, subscribe, follow, check it out, and also check out the merch store because we're going to be adding new merch stuff as soon as Dante makes more shit. So, thanks for watching. I will talk to you all soon. Bye. Garlic.